About fair. There are two types of fair value gaps. One of them is bullish fair value gap, and one of them is bearish fair value gap. So bullish fair value gap occurs when price moves with a bullish momentum, like there are multiple candles only of buys. So let me show you drawing I made for it. So let's say we have a bullish momentum in the market, right? So you have 3 or 4 like major multiple candles in a similar direction. Like for this instance, let's say we have a bullish momentum, right? So you got multiple candles. So one of them gonna have a gap, the gap between it. So you're gonna mark the gap with the high of the wick of previous candle and the low of the wick of the next candle. So the gap which is between this area is called fair value gap. So similar is for the bearish scenario. So uh, this was the wick after the momentum candle. So we are gonna refine it to above the wick. So now the gap between this is now refers to fair value gaps. Let me show you fair value gap on live chart. So this is gold on daily time frame. So as we are moving in a downward direction, so we will only focus on the bearish fair value gaps in the market, right? So in this scenario, where are you seeing the fair value gaps? So for me, this and like these two candles are like bigger than the normal candles right here, right? So you're gonna mark it from the wick of the previous candle and the wick of the next candle, right? So the gap between this is called fair value gap. If you zoom out on chart, you will find them everywhere on the charts, and this is where the price instead of rebalancing itself, it moves in one direction, right? So price have to rebalance the gap either in future or like anytime. It will come back to the gap and then drop, either like drop or break through it. But it is like for sure 100% that the market is gonna be inside this fair value gap in future, either in the next day or in a month after, right? So this was the fair value gap, bearish fair value gap, right? So there are multiple bullish fair value gap in this trend. Let's see this one. We have a multiple bias candle only, right? So this was the bullish fair value gap. So you may ask me that why we did not took a buy over here. So as you know, we are moving in a downward trend, so the buys are not the option over here. We have these selling, we have the bearish fair value gap over here. So what we are focusing on is we look for sells in a bearish and we look for buys in a bullish trend, right? So over here we have a we have a bearish fair value gap, so we are gonna take the sells from here. Now obviously we are not gonna take a sell from here and stop loss gonna be around up here. So we will define it to lower time frames, and this is just like with fair value gaps you can know the direction of the price. You can like guess the price where it's gonna head go ahead for in future. So in this scenario, let's say um, this one was the bullish fair value gap, uh, the last wick and the high of the wick. So this was the fair value gap, and price trades into it and then moves upward. So the question arises that why did I took this bullish fair value gap over here. So if you see, the price was moving in a downward direction for a long time, and this was the last high that price made. All right. So when price break through it, so it's mean the trend is gonna be change. So this is what market structure shift is. Or if you have been through smart money concepts, this is what called change of character, right? So after this change of character, price moved towards the upside, and we have either fair value gaps like this. We have a huge momentum towards the upside, and within the momentum, uh, 3 to 4 multiple bullish candles. So one of them have the gap between it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mark the gap, and we will wait for the price to tax the gap, and then go to like lower time frames, 1 minute or 15 minutes, to either find the entries, and like you can find entries within the fair value gaps, or this can be your target. Let me show you. Like in this scenario, this was a the bearish fair value gap, right? So when price tags into it, and when price was moving upward, this was bullish. Let me change the color. So this was the last bullish. So when price tags into it, you can drop to lower time frames like 1 minute time frame, and you took an entry. The entry criteria will be shared in further videos, right? So let's say you took an entry on 1 minute time frame over here. So what will you target for? Either this low or the fair value gap, uh, because sometimes, where's the polygon? Because sometimes price tags into the fair value gap and then moves towards the opposite direction. So that is the reason why we took our take profit on the fair value gaps. So I hope this clears your mind with fair value gaps. Let me show you some more examples. This was the fair value gap, price exactly tags into it. Okay, this was the fair value gap, price tags into it. This was the fair value gap. Let me mark it. From the last wick to the wick, the upper wick of the next candle, right? So this was the fair value gap. Price here breaks the low, tags into it, and then again drop over here. So if you go to like any time frame, you will find fair value gaps. Like in this instance, this is daily time frame, right? So if I go to 1 minute, this is fair value gap, price tags into it, and then moves towards the opposite direction, right? This was fair value gap, this was fair value gap, price tags into it, and then moves towards the opposite direction. This was the raid. I will share what trade is in the future videos, right? So this was the raid. Price breaks the structure over here. We have the fair value gap, price tags into it, and then we drop. So this is what my potential buy or sell model is. So this was a potential entry for me, but I didn't took it. I was on Euro USD. So this is what fair value gap is. This was fair value gap, price tags into it, and then drops. You can find it literally everywhere on the charts. So if you have any questions about fair value gaps, you can contact me in the group, or either in private. We can do like one-on-one Zoom sessions, or if majority of you did not get what fair value gap is, so we can do like a public fair value gap Zoom session.